Any lessons? Really, that is the big question. Losses come for any team, but they improve on it. It's been 3 years, we haven't won a test match abroad. Let me take that question first to Sourav Ganguly, one of India's finest captains ever. Dada, the first question that we're asking today is, does anyone in the BCCI or even the captain MS Dhoni himself really care for test cricket? Because if they did, then it would be obvious that some steps would be taken. Are we in denial, Dada? All right, let me take that question to Boria Majumdar while we patch our line with Sourav Ganguly. Boria, are we in denial? Is everyone just refusing to take notice of what is happening to Indian Test cricket?
Of course, there is no question we are. The fact of the matter is, the Asia Cup is just round the corner. Indian team will come back. You will win a few matches in the subcontinent. The IPL follows. It's all spectacle. It's all happy. It will all be consumerism. Then we go to England. So what? The Champions League follows. So you will win a few matches. After England, you will get a team like the West Indies. You will get teams from across maybe Australia, Sri Lanka here. You will batter them. Then you won a few one-days at home. So what if you're going to Australia at the end of the year? You will go lose, but you will get another subcontinental tour. Now you also control the ICC. The fact of the matter is, winning matches in India against attacks which are not the best, or, preparing turners. Sourav Ganguly said yesterday you prepared a minefield in Delhi to beat Australia. That is not the solution. A team goes down in history as to how you have done abroad. It frankly doesn't matter, Shivani, because we are in denial. But the point is, you have said test cricket. In 2009, we did not make the Super 6 of World T20. 2010, same. 2012, we have not made the Super 6 of World T20. Think about that. It's not only about test cricket. It's about composite formats.
Right. Let me take that question to Dada once again. Dada, the point that everybody is talking about today is that there's nothing happening. It's been 3 years. People said it's too early to sack Mahendra Singh Dhoni after those consecutive losses in 2011. He will learn. Give him some chance. It's been 3 years. Are we in denial about the state of Indian cricket?
I think, to be honest, Shivani, a lot of things has happened in that span of 3 years. People like Dravid, Tendulkar, Lakshman have gone, new players have come in, but obviously Dhoni has remained the most consistent figure and the most experienced figure in that team. I think situations have changed. The losses in 2011 were terrible, and I think it has continued overseas. Now the situation at the current moment is it's a young team. It's a young team, and I don't think the selectors have too many choices. The selectors can't go back to Dravid, Lakshman and Tendulkar. As I said before, it's not that they've left them behind and picked a young team. So they have issues. This is the best possible 11. It may be Harbhajan Singh, maybe Virender Sehwag waiting outside. But or Pragyan Oja. This is the best possible players at the current moment in the Indian team.
Right.
So you have to do with this at this stage. But I think you still have to find ways to play overseas. I don't believe that they don't care about Test cricket. I know there are people at BCCI who want the team to win, but when that doesn't happen, obviously there are ways to try and save the team. That's exactly what happens, and that happens everywhere. I think at this current moment, the team needs to get the squad right. It's my personal opinion. I think Mahendra Singh Dhoni is the best person at this stage to lead India. You've heard Rahul Dravid say yesterday that his overseas test record is appalling, but I think he's the guy to take India into England and to Australia, because that's going to be even a tougher series than what we have encountered in the last 3 or 4 months.
No, but Dada, you say that people care. Dada, you're saying people care. How do we know that people care when nothing has happened? You heard what Mahendra Singh Dhoni said in the press conference, that our calendar is IPL to IPL. Does he care more about T20 and one day and really not give that much about Test cricket? He doesn't go for wins. He's okay settling for draws.
No, I think what he meant by IPL to IPL is that, it starts with IPL and finishes with IPL, and we play so much of cricket in between. I think that's exactly what he's trying to say. I don't think he's trying to say that the T20 cricket is what all matters to us. One day cricket is all matters to us, because IPL is a domestic tournament, Shivani. It's not an international tournament, so let's not talk about IPL here. India's performance in domestic T20 has not been the best. We haven't qualified for the last 3 or 4 T20 World Cups. So that's a completely different ballgame. There are issues to be solved in this Indian cricket, and let's look at this show. We've got time tonight to look at it positively.
Right. Firstly, I'll come to you, Dada, and look at some solutions as well. Sorry to cut you short there, but I also want to take Kunal Pradhan's view. Kunal, I know you feel that the policies, I mean, look at the policies in the BCCI. It doesn't seem to put any confidence in us that they really care about Test cricket. There's no voices also, even after, losing 10 matches out of the last 12.
See, Shivani, I'm actually very glad that we're having this discussion today because, there are some people, and I'm included in that, who have been wanting to have this discussion for the last 3-4 years. See, the thing is, there was a time, and, I've covered cricket extensively during Sourav Ganguly's time as captain, where, we judged the Indian team primarily on the basis of their performance in Test cricket and primarily on the basis of how they did abroad. Sourav was the first captain and his was the first team that, went abroad and started winning Test matches. In the beginning we had trouble winning series or drawing series, but, we were conquering new territory by winning, planting our flag in Port of Spain, in all sorts of, in Johannesburg, in all sorts of places. Yeah, Australia. I think what has happened over the last 3-4 years, and people don't like to talk about it enough, is that I see what Mahendra Singh Dhoni meant by IPL to IPL is that that has become the calendar. But I have become a strong believer that unfortunately what has happened in Indian cricket is that IPL is slowly becoming the most important event of the year. It is a domestic tournament and it should not be that. Now what happens as a result of that is that you get a number of players who are now, whose ambition is to play the IPL. See, there are these odd players who bleed for Test cricket. People like Cheteshwar Pujara who after the IPL go off for a couple of months to correct themselves because they think that some errors may have crept into their game because they've been concentrating too much on T20. But that's an easier format. You need to be less fit. You get to make more money. And I don't think anybody is telling them to do, but it's just implicitly.
Does MS Dhoni care as a captain about what his record in Tests is?
See, I'm sure he cares, but you keep getting an impression that this Indian team doesn't feel for Test cricket as much as Indian teams in the past have felt. Having said that, I have to agree with some things that have been said before, which is that, it was a very difficult time for Indian cricket. Sehwag is not in the team, Gambhir is not in the team.
Sehwag and Gambhir have been left behind.
But whatever, they're not in the team for form or whatever. They've suddenly gone. You didn't expect them to go so quickly. Dravid is gone, Sourav is gone. Sachin is now gone, Lakshman is gone. So it was always going to be very difficult to replace them. And I think that this batting lineup, our current batting lineup, has shown that the core of the team, the batting, is this.
These are the best people. We'll come to the batting. We just want to understand whether losing 10 matches in the last 12 hurts Indian cricket, hurts the Indian team and hurts the BCCI. Let's just listen in to what New Zealand legend Richard Hadlee had to say about this Indian performance, and I'll take comments from Sourav and Boria again. Dada, those are extremely strong words from Richard Hadlee. Nobody wants to hear excuses. I mean, you built a team that became from lambs abroad to lions. Isn't our reputation being tarnished by what's happening right now? The reputation that you built.
Yeah, obviously reputation is being tarnished. When you don't win overseas, obviously people don't give you as much as respect. But I don't agree with what Richard Hadlee has said. I don't think the Indians crib about the green pitches. I don't think they talk about different conditions. When I look at this team play, Shivani, and I closely follow India, I think Mahendra Singh Dhoni needs help. I think this team has ability. You need to make certain corrections. I think this fast bowling unit is good enough. But the problem which is happening is the spin department. All good teams in world cricket, where you look at when Australia played at their best, when Sri Lanka played at their best, when England played at their best, and when India played at their best, they had Vaughan, Murli, Swan and Anil Kumble and Harbhajan Singh. You look at these Indian side, once the ball gets old on pitches which don't assist spinners, do we have a quality spinner to win Test matches? Test matches are won by quality spinners. Unless and until you get stuck on a green seaming pitch which remains green for 2 or 3 days of the Test match, you don't win Test matches.
So what would you like to see in the team combination, Dada?
Just let me finish. Let me finish. Come day 2, come day 3, you need spinners who actually can win you Test matches, who actually can give you breakthroughs. Graham Swan did so fabulously for England on seaming pitches. India need to find that. And I think somebody needs to help Mahendra Singh Dhoni on the park. I don't know what Duncan Fletcher is doing. Since the time he's come to India, his overseas record has gone down. And I think that's a massive confidence thing. Once you keep losing, confidence is such a thing which just keeps down. I think the the approach needs to be right. You cannot just turn up 2 days before of the first test or the first one day in overseas conditions and expect to win. Now the question you will have is what happens at the end of the series. At the end of the series also we are still playing poorly.
Yeah.
You know, once you lose the first 2 or 3 matches in a tour, you just panic. You just panic and say, what else can we do to recover? The confidence of batters go down. They have 2 or 3 failures. These are young people who haven't played in these conditions ahead, and you don't know what to do. So few things need to be done, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni desperately needs help.
All right,
I don't know
all
whether
right.
Duncan Fletcher is 1 second, let me finish.
Sourav Ganguly says Mahendra Singh Dhoni has to stay as the captain. We cannot make that transition right now because we have England and Australia coming up, the World Cup. Let him be captain till 2015. But what about Duncan Fletcher and Joe Dawes? We raised that question earlier also. I'll go into a short break and we'll take that question once again with our experts. Keep watching. Welcome back to our special presentation. Sourav Ganguly before the break raised the point that MS Dhoni should stay. But what about Duncan Fletcher and Joe Dawes? What has been their contribution? Boria, should they also stay for the upcoming series till in England and Australia, or should they just go now? We have to set a benchmark.
You know, Sourav Ganguly also said that Mahendra Singh Dhoni needs help. I was listening very carefully. Who helps him? The captain says everything's fine. He says we are improving. There is nobody to ask that Duncan Fletcher and Joe Dawes' head. There is no accountability. So tell me, who is the person who will help Mahendra Singh Dhoni if the captain is in a mode of denial and tells you we are improving, there is no problem. Unless you acknowledge there is a problem, there is no remedy. Sourav acknowledges there is a problem. Kunal does, you do, I do, the fans do. Does the skipper do the same? I don't think he's doing the same. So who will help Dhoni? I don't know how this help will come.
All right. Once again, we come back to the same question. Are we taking decisions or are we in denial? We'll take that question further with Sourav Ganguly, Kunal and Boria. We're going to slip into a very short break. On the other side, as Sourav mentioned, we'll also try and see what we can do. If Indian captain is not listening right now, maybe we can send some message across to him. There are some solutions perhaps in sight. Keep watching our special presentation. We'll be back in 2 minutes.